As I said, how we 3 times our CRO conversion rate optimization while in stealth mode. This is a journey through startup life and AI automation with myself, Felicity K. So I'm going to skim through a few things. I'm going to add a few things because actually in the past week or so, we've decided on a massive upgrade to what we offer and how we do it, which means completely different methods of conversion rate optimization. For those of you who don't know, conversion rate optimization refers to the number of people you have coming into your website, like through the funnel into your website, that you can convert into leads and into paying customers potentially. So if you have people who come into your website, but who, for whatever reason, don't click the button, for whatever reason, maybe the button doesn't work, which is something you guys know about a lot as QA testers, or just something isn't appealing to the people on your website, basically, you can say goodbye to sales. So the first thing you need to do is you need to work on your conversion rate optimization, and that's how we did. So just a quick overview. We're going to talk about who I am, the basics of acquisition marketing. It's very, very important for QA testers because marketers cannot do anything that they do unless you guys know what you're doing and work alongside them. And I know this, from working 10 years in marketing, I would be nowhere without my QA people, hands down. So also we're going to talk about marketing on autopilot if any of you are interested in becoming indie developers, implementation examples, some results, and basically an overview of how to keep in touch. So who am I? Like I said, I've been doing marketing for acquisition for over 10 years, closer to 15 actually. As a founding member of some very, very big online gaming, social gaming, business units all around Europe. I actually founded and scaled my own content marketing and automation agency about 7 years ago. And my background is actually mostly in online gaming, like casino gaming. I've marketed for acquisition and built teams over at Playtech, Mr. Green, William Hill, 888, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nowadays, I'm an AI automation consultant for high tech, which means I go around consulting people on how to improve their systems. Obviously, again, with my QA people right behind me. I'm also the VP for marketing and automation at Pixar, which we'll talk about in a second. And I'm a mentor at Microsoft for startups. So I do quite a lot of weird stuff all day, every day, but I honestly love it. It's what I live for. So the basics of acquisition marketing. I originally gave a version of this talk to a gaming conference. So it's actually very interesting. The last speaker was talking about all these things. I was like, yeah, that's right on. I love it. So basically, the idea behind acquisition marketing, getting new people into the funnel, making sure everything works, etc., is basically coming up with a concept, testing it, as you guys know, and then just doing it all over again. Okay, so it's very, very simple on the face of it, which is why I said that marketing and QA testing goes very, very hand in hand, because if you have a really good idea, but you can't actually make it work, no one is going to win. So that's basically it. But when it comes to marketing and autopilot, there are 2 main principles that everyone needs to stick to in order to make it all work. Producing high quality content, and a lot of it, so that could be PPC ads, like a pay-per-click, like all the annoying promoted ads you see on social media and everything. SEO, good stuff to read, site content, social copy, emails, trying to acquire new players or new customers, retention emails, trying to keep the customers, very important, the referral incentives, all that kind of stuff. We don't need to go into it. And on the other side, you need to have automated testing and reporting, which I'm sure you guys know a lot about. So basically, as we said before, you're just testing an idea, you're reporting on it, what worked, what didn't work, analyzing it, and then retesting all over again. And that's basically marketing in a nutshell, in theory. Obviously, it needs to all work. So in the past, when you had implementation for marketing, it was you had to have so many people. I remember hiring something like 20 people to build a team, and that was considered a lean startup team. And it was just ridiculous because, I don't know how that could be defined as lean, but you had to have a team of marketers or one person who was really good at doing it all, a copywriter, operation people, social media marketers, data scientists, analysts, whatever. And then you also needed to take into account all the different geographical privacy and data restrictions and time and budget and all those fun things. Long story short, it wasn't very fun. So when AI came in and automation, it was like a godsend to a lot of people. So this is basically a quick overview of how to slash your costs and optimize your conversion rate optimization or optimize your CRO on autopilot. Again, All of this cannot be done without QA. You people are very fundamental in making sure this all works. We do this with strategic AI automation. So I'm going to use my own startup as an example of what we did to 3 times our conversion rate optimization. And then I'm going to tell you some new things that we implemented in the past week that I can't actually show you because they're still on the staging environment, but I'll tell you all about them and then we can talk about them afterwards. So the new way of doing implementation, you don't need 20 people, you need 1 person and a few tools. This all needs to be managed correctly and implemented correctly, obviously. You can have AI optimization, AI reporting analysis, AI sentiment analysis, distribution, content creation, etc., etc., etc. It's an amazing field. So basically, here is a very quick thing that I implemented. It's a custom GPT to write Pinterest content. If any of you have experience with either connecting things for Pinterest, like different integrations, or just creating the content, you will know that it's an absolute headache. Even to someone who writes, I write super fast, but I just can't be bothered, quite frankly. So I built this custom GPT to take all the different things I needed for Pinterest. I just plugged it in. I told it exactly what I wanted, and voila, I have a time-saving tool at my fingertips that I can just create and save a lot of time with. So here's just basically how it works. It's very quick. Just a few examples. I literally drag an image that I created on Canva. It takes me 5 minutes to do it, not even. I'm not very graphically gifted. And from there, it tells me a title, a set of keywords, a description, a link that I need to use, and that's it. That's just one very quick example of AI automation. It's not a very exciting example, but that's kind of the spirit of things. Okay. Next. So another thing, I'm sure you guys have heard of Zapier, Make, all these different integration platforms. It's not the most fun thing, I would say, for my team of QA, because so many things can go wrong so quickly. But when it goes right, it's absolutely fantastic. Obviously, it's best to kind of build your own thing, but we don't all have that kind of budget or time or people. So basically, here are just a few very quick things that I built using Zapier.
I create a conversation in custom GPT
to make sure that everything was completely automated.
New row in Google Sheets. So we want to format it. So use if then formatter for if I create an image. If I use an image, sorry. Create a new row for Pinterest. What else gives us images? Instagram and Facebook.
This is basically using
a video.
Oh, I'm not
create
finished.
a new row for TikTok is video and Instagram. Okay, so that's that. Then what I want to happen is I want it to send me a Slack notification so I can improve everything. Send a Slack notification.
Long story short, one thing I probably forgot to mention, if you've for some reason ever heard me speaking before, the first thing I usually say is I absolutely hate social media. I hate using it. I hate creating content for it, but it's a necessary evil, especially when you're trying to promote a new product or service or whatever. So I found a way that I could completely automate everything I had, kind of all the social media content production and publishing that I needed to do, because I personally, every time I go into TikTok, I break out in hives. And so then afterwards, once everything is kind of pushed to the different platforms, you can receive a Slack notification to say it's gone live. You can receive a notification before it goes live to say, hey, check all this out, etc., etc., etc. That's Zapier. It requires a lot of testing and a lot of different integrations and to make sure that everything works.
We're just
going to move on quickly. Okay, so implementation, the thing that I really wanted to talk to you guys about, because it took a long time for me to work this out, to get it right, to test it completely, and to make sure that everything was fixed and worked as it should. So AI agents. I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions about this afterwards. It's something that I get asked about a lot. It's something I build a lot for clients. Basically, AI agents are things like custom GPTs that are extended to use to integrate with other programs. So I built AI agents to, for example, be just copywriters and editors who write copy. And that means that I've trained these models to completely focus on writing copy for whatever subject it is. So with my startup, Pickstar, we are an AI photo booth app. And I'll link you guys to the website afterwards, but please bear in mind it's going to change in about a week. So basically we needed to create a lot of content around like AI photo booths and the photo booth industry and how to scale a photo booth company, etc., etc., etc. So I have an AI agent copywriter and editor who basically focus just on that, coming up with the titles, coming up with social media content, coming up with, sorry, that's the social media manager AI agent, but coming up with all kinds of different long form content just so they can send it to social media. I have another AI agent who is a social media manager, publishes after receiving approval, all the stuff the copywriter creates, and so on, so on, so on. My favorite AI agent is actually the analysis and reporting bot, which is basically, it takes all the different campaigns that we're running, on social, organic stuff, paid marketing, everything, and basically analyzes it, reports it. And then afterwards, it sends it to the AI agent for management who says, okay, let's focus on fixing this, let's build that, let's do this, blah, blah, blah. And it's just amazing. And I also built myself a little AI personal assistant because I can just tell the personal assistant one thing and the personal assistant knows who to talk to, like to get the right result. So that's basically how implementation is done nowadays. Now, it sounds really fun and rosy, but I'm going to show you in a second a very basic flow that I had to build on a tool called Microsoft Copilot Studio in order to make it happen. Now, it took about 2 months of building, testing, going into Microsoft. I mean, I'm already there for the mentoring stuff, but going in and really listening and understanding and learning and working with their team to work out how to use this tool. So I will show you how that looks. So there we go. Okay, this one is a flow that I built in Microsoft Copilot Studio for social media management. There's no talking on this one. I'm just going to show you a very basic overview of how it is, and I'll move on to some other things. So this is, to do one thing, this is what I needed to build and test a lot. So you can see there, a question is asked, there's a condition, if this is there or not. Please add a type of image there. If it's an image or a video, do this. If it's an image, do this. It goes to these different social platforms. If it's a video, it goes to these social platforms. If it's a paid campaign, it goes here. If it's not a paid campaign, it goes there. I think the next thing is, creating a caption just for Reddit. Reddit, I set up an approval bot because you should never post anything automated to Reddit. That is because Reddit is a very crazy place. And you don't want to kind of risk anything happening which you're not completely happy with. So yeah, that's that. Is there another bot coming up here? Okay, sorry, the first one was the copywriter bot. This is the social media bot. So that automatically escalates once everything is approved to the social media publisher. The social media manager publishes everything. You can see here as well, it says if the content is organic, publish it to here. If it's not organic, publish it to there. If it's a paid campaign, once it's organic, make sure that if it's Reddit, that it's approved beforehand. If it's everything else, just put it up there. Make sure to use the correct video, the correct image, blah, 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 blah. Is that the end of it? That's the end of it. Okay, so it looks like I've pretty much just like built that, but I assure you there were 2 months of a lot of people working on this together to make sure it happened. Since then, you know, I know how to do it like that basically, but it was very difficult to learn at the beginning. Lots and lots of testing went into it because, as I'm sure you know, with anything, especially something you know, like Microsoft, which is built for enterprise, and then people who are not enterprises use it, like me, it kind of is very buggy. It's not completely like cooked, so a lot of things can go wrong. I'm sure this is all stuff you're very familiar with. So, oh, that's that one again. Okay, so this is another quick example. This is one of my favorite bots. Like I said, it's the conversion rate optimization for data analysis. Now, this is basically the thing that we implemented that took all of our efforts from like 0 to 100. Once we had the analysis, I would say the testing kind of like, this doesn't really do testing. It does more like data analysis and reporting. But we can also do a testing bot, which kind of like, you know, is like a tier 1 kind of response thing that escalates to a human. But this is the thing that kind of made us like come to our conclusions a lot quicker and took things up a notch because we could react quicker, implement quicker. Well, the bots could, but you know. So this is kind of like an overview of how that works. So the first thing I did, I took all the different inputs, the videos of the campaigns we were running, the campaign metrics, it extracted everything automatically. sent it to analyze the table, and then basically came up with a list of optimization suggestions. It generates a JSON. As you can see, this is a very long JSON automatically. It's a long JSON. And then it sends the JSON to a test environment. This is actually something I built in Custom GPT as well. I would actually prefer to build it in Copilot in the future. So the bot takes the JSON automatically, and then it comes up with loads of different conclusions, and then it sends it to the correct people. So here it tells you a little bit about what's in the video, why it was so effective, what kind of campaign metrics came out, and recommendations of how to improve things. So as you can see, it's like a very, very powerful bot. Again, took a lot of effort, a lot of testing, a lot of different implementation, a lot of testing again in order to make it work. But it honestly, once I got it working, it was like amazing. So, oops, no, not that one again. So here's just a very quick overview of what happens when we implemented automated emailing campaigns for outreach. This is a very basic test audience that I started with. It was only like 2,000 people per campaign. What I was doing was I was doing automated scraping, which is where I take a lot of emails of relevant people. I define the people I want to email, and then I like scrape all their emails, and then I automatically send them a set of emails telling them about our service, offering a demo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, so that people either book a demo with me or they go to the website and buy a paid plan. So with each of these, it was all completely automated. I didn't do anything hands-on. Again, it's just something I won't even say anymore, but basically a lot of testing to make sure everything worked, to make sure that the messaging was correct, to make sure the technology worked, etc. But yeah, each of these 2,000 people of 700 emails that were sent, 125 open, for example, we had pretty good reply rates, you know, for a completely automated campaign where we weren't entirely sure what our target market was, what our like basically our product was. It was all very kind of like early days. All of this was early days, by the way. It's just, you know, I work full time in a few different jobs, so I didn't have time to physically do all this like manually. So this was like the next best thing. And the results we got were very, very interesting because we saw that, you know, going from completely automated ChatGPT emails to this is something called Smart Lead, to like automated replies, etc., etc. It was super effective. And then using my reporting and analysis bot, I could understand kind of like what to improve, what kind of messaging would work better, what kind of subject lines, that kind of stuff, what times to email people for the most effect, etc., etc. So yeah, it's pretty effective. So very quickly, this is kind of the end of this section of the presentation. This is a way to keep in touch with me. This is a QR code to my LinkedIn. I haven't actually done a lot of work on my Felicity AI bot's Instagram, but I promise in the next few weeks it will like completely explode with content because I've actually just set up an automation to make it happen. But yeah, if you want to keep in touch, that is the best way to do it. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about the next few things that we have coming up at Pixar. Just leave this on the screen for you a little bit. And basically, with Pixar AI, so what I'll do is I'm going to quickly share my screen and show you what Pixar AI does. Oops. Okay, so this is an overview of Pixar AI. This is everything else is kind of theory. This is the practice. So what we do is, like I said, we are a photo booth app for an AI app for photo booth software. So it sounds kind of like esoteric. Basically, the way that we came up with this is when I got married last year, we wanted a photo booth. We weren't entirely sure what we wanted. And basically, the options on the market weren't amazing. It was like there was so much potential with AI and stuff that we wanted to build something that was really interesting. So me, with my marketing background, someone who works at Microsoft who's like very kind of like, what's the word? Very clued up with AI. He's like responsible for the AI there. And also for like, he works with OpenAI a lot. Someone from the events industry and another person, we all got together to kind of build something that we wanted to use at my wedding. So we used my wedding as a proof of concept. And from that, we worked out that we wanted to build something for photo booths without actually providing the photo booths ourselves. Not the hardware, just the software. So we came up with this. Over time, we realized while we're in stealth mode that we don't want to be a photo booth app because there are a lot of competitors on the market. who do very, very basic things with photo booths. We wanted to be the AI specialists for photo booths. So what that meant was really focusing on the AI aspect of everything. Now, as you know, it is very, very difficult to build an AI app with anything, whatever kind of base that you're working with, whether it's Stable Diffusion, whether it's Midjourney, it can be very, very fickle. It's very changeable. Suddenly someone has 3 arms or like 10 eyes, or someone's face is smushed or it doesn't look like them. So there is a lot of stuff that goes into it. There's constant testing that we do behind the scenes to get a very, very stable product. Now, as far as automation goes, when it comes to this website, when people come to this website, what we had before was something like, a little video of how things worked. As you can see, and again, this is all going to change in the next week or so. We have starting images of people and basically what we can turn them into. From there, we basically realized with AI tracking what people were mostly into by looking at what they focused on the most. There are all things called eye tracking software. You can physically see where people are looking in the page, where they're clicking, where they're scrolling to. And from that, we realized that our feature section had to come after our hero section. Hero section, feature section. From there, we added a video, we changed our CTAs, all this other stuff. Now, 2 things that we're going to update in the next week. Number 1, we're going to have a very different, what we call like a conversion funnel. When I go here and I click get in touch, what comes up here? It's just a form. It's kind of a boring form. It's kind of very low tech. We want to kind of convey that we're very high tech, that we're very exciting to work with. We're going to elevate your events, blah, blah, blah. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick pop-up that comes up and says, see an instant demo. And for that, we need to obviously build an instant demo, make sure it works correctly. And we're going to have this really cool AI, like a name changer. So for example, when you put your name in here, we're going to say, oh, hi, Felicity. Thank you for choosing Pixar for an instant demo. And it's going to be amazing. So that's one way of basically optimizing your conversion rate when you have people interested in your product. Another thing, we're going to update this video. So when we did the testing and the reporting, we realized one fundamental thing. When we made this video, as you can see, it's clearly on a phone screen. Now, everywhere on our website, every photo booth professional knows you don't use your phone to take professional pictures. It's just not how it is. If someone hires you for an event, you don't get out your phone and be like, oh, okay, so yeah, everyone smile. No, you have at the very least an iPad. So that was basically our first mistake. The second mistake was it should have been playing on autopilot. The second someone scrolls here, it should automatically, claim the screen, maybe become full screen, that kind of thing. So that's another thing that we're going to change. The most important thing we're going to change though is this over here. So chatbots. There are probably going to be a lot of conversations and questions about chatbots. And for that, I think what we'll do is we'll open the Q&A a little bit early. So basically what happens is with chatbots, there are 2 types of chatbot. Okay, there's a pre-built chatbot that you can use. You can just have to answer questions. So for example, like this, I can say, hey, what's your pricing? And basically what will happen, there'll be a pre-built flow that comes in and it will say, oh, here's a little bit more about pricing. Or let me answer these questions. I don't know why actually. Oh, this is actually pretty bad. There should be FAQs that come up and say, ask me about this. Don't know why that's happening. Okay, so basically that you can have pre-built flows, which are kind of very static. They're kind of boring. People kind of they don't really care about them because there's only so much you can do with static chatbots. That they answer basic questions. They don't really know how to handle anything else. They're good for pushing people through a funnel. But most people, especially when it comes to buying something online like this, they don't want to be pushed through a funnel. They want to understand, they want to talk, they want to ask, they want to do all these things. And for that, you need a dynamic chatbot. Something that is but is not ChatGPT. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually build a custom GPT. We're going to build it in Microsoft Copilot Studio because the one thing that's very, very important here is that it's data protection. ChatGPT is not a secure place to store sensitive data, whether that's medical data, financial data, etc., because as has already happened and will probably continue to happen, it's already been hacked last year. They kept it kind of quiet at the beginning I think it came out like a few months ago. There was a massive hack and a data leak. And in fact, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I'm using ChatGPT, just for basic stuff or whatever, it starts telling me all this random stuff about other people. And I have come to the conclusion it's just telling me like chats from other people's chats, which is not cool, basically. So if you have any sensitive data that you need to protect, trademark, whatever, use Copilot, Microsoft Copilot Studio. They have an OpenAI integration because they are like stakeholders in OpenAI, and you can basically get all the benefits of ChatGPT, keeping it in a closed environment, basically keeping your data safe. So we're going to have a Microsoft Copilot Studio chatbot here where we're going to upload all the documents. We have like an internal knowledge base, a pricing guide. We have like a list of filters that we use for our software. We have basically everything from here, our roadmap, our API details, everything you see here, literally pricing, FAQs. We're going to have like every bit of information about this Kickstarter in one place. So someone can just come onto the website and be like, okay, I want to know, I run X events a month. I have X employees. I have a self-serve photo booth. I need this and this. What do you suggest to me? It says, oh, actually, I suggest this package, blah, blah, blah. Basically, something much more dynamic that everyone can get what they want out of the experience, and that they can just, guide their own journey. And that, I'm pretty sure, after a lot of testing, a lot of discussion, is going to be the thing that ultimately completely changes the conversion rate optimization of people coming onto the website. One more thing we're going to change. It's just going to be over here. Where was it? The API. Two things actually. Sorry. Another thing. Coming soon. Roadmaps. I'm pretty sure, and please correct me afterwards if I'm wrong. A lot of you are familiar with roadmaps, with stuff not happening on time, with stuff like going completely off plan. So basically, what I want is some kind of thing here that is like an interactive roadmap. So every person, we have a lot of different people coming to our website. The roadmap section is meant to kind of like either dissuade people who are not relevant to our product. Number two, convince people who are relevant to our product, but are like a small customer who should probably get like a monthly subscription or something to buy the monthly subscription. And people who are much bigger who want like an API or something to go for an API and to talk to us about that. Basically, that's what I want the roadmap to do. So it's going to be like a dynamic thing that we're going to implement here, like a little quiz. Tell me about what you're looking for. People can again, write like a lot of dynamic live text, and then it will basically tell them what is most suitable for them. And that's that. So that's going to be awesome. I hope if it works. And the last thing that we're going to change is we're going to do a lot more work on advertising our API. Basically what we did a few months ago, we realized that people were much more interested in using our API than they were using just our photo booth software. And with repeated testing, with repeated optimization, we realized this because number one, like I said at the beginning of the talk, we realized we had a lot of competitors on the photo booth market, which by the way is not a market I ever thought I would be working in. I would like build a startup in before my wedding. It's just once I realized what was out there and what was going on and how I could kind of do it better, I was like, okay, I guess we're running a startup now. So I've only really been doing this for like a year and a half, which is like not a long time if you think about it. But we realized basically that there are so many competitors in the photo booth market. They have so many features, stuff that will take us honestly months to implement, and we wouldn't even be able to do it as well as other people. We realized that the thing that we really had going for us was how amazingly we can do AI for photo booths or anything really, anything visual. So what we decided was we're going to build an API. We're going to offer an API to kind of bigger customers. It was a massive risk, and thank God it managed to pay off so well. So with this API section, we want to kind of move it up the page. We want to understand, like, we want the people on the page to understand either they are an API client, either they are a monthly subscription client, like they use our software as an add-on to their existing photo booth software, or they're not relevant for us. Because the worst thing is with our current funnel, what we have is, this like this call, where's it gone? Book a call, yeah, there you go. Leave us a message. it's just not professional. It's not enough. It's very boring. You can see it's like a Wix website. It just looks terrible. It doesn't really convey the kind of like cutting edge, exciting stuff that we do. You know, it's just very boring, very flat. I want something to be much more dynamic, much more exciting, to kind of get our customers very exciting before they become our customers, so they know what we're about. So that's, I would say, pretty much most of it. The website is going to change completely, as well as the pricing section. Like I said, the feature section, the how to use Pixar AI, the pricing, the login. Yeah, like I guess that's pretty much it. I'm just going to check back in with you, Blanca, and see. Oops, stop screen sharing. There. Yeah.